part of this.
So where did plant herb come from? Where's the journey started?
It's a long journey dating all the way back to 1970. My family have always been involved in health and wellness and in herbs. In 1970, my family launched their first herb apothecary in Springfield, Ohio. My mother, my uncle, Ayubu Moyo, they start mixing herbs, mixing tonics to create plant-based medicine that will heal remedies and fix solutions and right inside of the Black community. So where this came from, all the way back then, I put a remix to it. I certainly feel like personally it's my mission, it's my goal to really introduce health and wellness and plant-based medicine and the power of herbs to our Black community. Because we are underserved, underinsured, and sometimes underprivileged in the medical society. So this is oftentimes where we have found our politics, where we have found our healing, and where we have found our breakthrough as a people here. It's very organic to us, it's very authentic to us. So the journey that's where it started.
Yeah, I like it. So your experience and your knowledge base, did you have to study something to learn about herbs, or did you just learn it from your grandmother and your mom and then pass down to you?
Absolutely. There's a part where it was passed down to me. I am a former pharmaceutical rep for Johnson & Johnson, the biggest healthcare provider in the world. And so I work for Ortho McNeil. So like I've been to pharmaceutical school. Of course, I've studied at the Eclectic School of Medicine, which is a holistic school. But a lot of my work happened just meeting with people every day on Old National, talking to people whose bodies were broken or the medical community had failed them. And so mixing formulas together and watching their lives improve. So I don't give Johnson & Johnson or any other school credit. I give just working with our people every day and watching them recover through the power of herbs credit. So it is schooling, it's practical. It's clinical experience is why I'm here.
I love the clinical part.
Absolutely, right?
So even from the clinical part, so overall, not even just clinical, what services do you provide?
Well, overall, we are a handcrafted urban tea bar. We specialize in literally making plant-based medicine. So we carry over 140 herbs inside of our tea bars. And so our goal, when you come here and you say, hey, I have a headache, I have a sinus infection, we take our experience and we make herbs that will meet your ask. And so what we do, we literally are making medicine for whatever it is that your body needs, detox, energy. And so we're mixing, we're hearing you out, we're trying single herbs, sometimes we mix combinations of herbs. And that's literally where our product line has come from, of over 27 tonics. They were consistent orders that were put together, blends that were put together for people over 8 years.
I love that. I love that. So I know this is your second location.
Absolutely.
So you started from our earlier conversation. I know you started on that, and then you went to Camp Creek.
Yes.
And now you're here. Can you tell me what it was like when you decided that you needed a second location, and then why you picked this location?
I never decided I needed a second location. I was just having fun on Old National. I wasn't even at the particular time dreaming that big. The business owners in that plaza thought it would be cool to have a health and wellness space there. And so actually the owners of the real estate actually called me and said, hey, we have a deal for you. I never really chose Camp Creek. But they outlined their deal. I thought the deal was good. I didn't know how the hell I was going to afford it at the time, but I signed off on it faith. And it prospered. And so literally 8 months later, after signing the lease in Camp Creek, I was driving through College Park, and I looked at this location. Nothing on this block was open, not Virgil's, not Milk, nothing. It was like a desolate land. And this building had a lease sign in there with handwritten letters. And I said, oh, that would be so dope to just offer what we do. And so I wrote the name down, I wrote the number down, and I called, and we was like, well, we're gonna jump out here and do this. But I always wanted to be centered inside of our community, because what we do truly is for, I'm unapologetically Black. I'm unapologetically on an agenda to improve the health and wellness inside of our community as African Americans. We suffer from high blood pressure. We've created a $1 trillion industry. The pharmaceutical industry responds. We've created a $1 trillion industry in diabetes, high blood pressure, and broken bodies. So you guys ever heard of what is it called? DaVita. It's a dialysis clinic chain. And I remember when I first got from New York, I was like, whoa, they have a chain. Like all of the dialysis clinics are named the same thing. I was like, we have to reverse this.
Yes.
Why are black people dying of blood pressure and diabetes and things that we can control through our diet and everyday herbs? So I'm unapologetically about that. I'm intentionally here in College Park and Camp Creek because this is where our Mecca is here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Being here from Union City to now College Park, where do you see yourself growing from those two platforms?
Globally.
Yeah, come on,
globally. I want to break through in every underprivileged neighborhood. I want to break through in underserved neighborhoods. I want to break through in inner cities. Because a cup of tea a day, I am confident, will change the lives and the trajectory of our health as African Americans in this country.
Yes.
If we have the knowledge that an apple a day will keep the doctor away, if we have the knowledge that hawthorn berry will bring blood pressure into a normal range, if we have the knowledge, you know, my people perish due to a lack of knowledge. So oftentimes the knowledge isn't here. So our main goal with anybody on my team, we are teachers.
Yes.
Our highest call, our greatest goal is to be a teacher every day inside of our community.
Yes. So even off the knowledge-based part, have you ever provided like any type of, what is the word for, like any podcasts or any open
forums? Yeah.
Absolutely. You can find all of my podcasts on the Root Doctor on the Apple platforms, any podcast platform. Look for the Root Doctor, you can find me. We offer free classes. We offer free health crawls where we walk you through detoxification, how to heal your heart, how even emotionally how you heal and just support yourself. Because like you know, you're in the mental health space, so bipolarism, depression, these things really affect our community. Sometimes people think we're crazy, but we're really dealing with mental challenges. And there are herbs that will help balance the serotonin levels. There are herbs that will help balance depression levels inside of the body, so we can positively respond to our dreams, our hopes, and our audacity as a people. So that's where I like to be.
You know what I would love to know? I would love to know about maybe a testimonial or anything that you may have experienced where someone come back to you and said, I've tried this tea and I feel better because, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, so overwhelming this year. I would definitely refer you back to our website and our Instagram page, specifically Fresh from Earth Tea. Because people have honestly supported themselves through the COVID journey using herbs. We have people who have supported themselves through cancer journeys using herbs. Personally, like I was explaining to Liv earlier, like just balancing, like I naturally can deal with depression sometimes. The world can be perfectly fine. I can have $1 million in the bank and I still might feel down. But balancing my mood through herbs, St. John's wort, these things are available to us. So we have tons of testimonials, 8 years of testimonials, literally just available on Instagram, on our Facebook page. We have an incredible email source that we send these things out every day too. So
I'm just giving you the eye.
Because that's where it's at. Listen, we work in a business with no results, we have no business. With results, we have a tomorrow, right? And so our number one job here is to get it right the first time and to hear you out, what your chief complaint is, what's going on with your body, and to give you solutions through plant-based medicine that will help uplift you. Because if you don't feel better, you're not going to come back to us. So we have to make sure that we're right the first time.
I love that. That's a really big deal. And I think one thing that I love is that you have everything that you offer on display. You know what I mean? It's not like you trying to give them the remedy and keep it a secret. It's like you want them to heal and you lay out there what it is that's healing them. So that's a really big deal. And is that something that you mentioned that you have a podcast that kind of in classes and things like that? Do you try and educate people on what it is the herbs actually do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Oftentimes through churches, we'll network with the churches, and we're having, like I have a class with Renaissance on Butner Road, a very growing ministry, and they're trying to teach your whole congregation about herbs. The podcast, the classes, like last year we offered so many classes. Even if you catch my lives on the Root Doctor on Instagram or Fresh from Earth Tea on Instagram, trust me, I'm always on there educating, coaching, and pushing people to the next level of health through plant-based medicine.
That is so powerful.
The healing of the nations is in the leaves of the trees, right?
Yeah.
And so since the beginning of mankind, we have always been able to break through the leaves of the trees.
Yes.
Pharmaceuticals literally take the leaf of the tree, like for example, oak bark, right? So oak bark is the core of aspirin, Tylenol, whichever pain medication you manage. They take a little bit of the herb and then they find out how to mass produce it by adding science. But at the core of the science is still the herb.
Yeah.
It's still the root. It's still the salt of the earth.
Yeah.
And so like we want to uncover this ancient modality and create breakthrough in our society. We don't gotta have all these thousands of dollars in health bills.
Right.
If we find out that your blood pressure is rising, that's take care of it with some hot thumb berry. If we find out your blood sugar is rising, that's take care of gynemia. If we find out you have cancerous cells, that's lower the cellular activity with astragalus. So these are things that we have available to us. You know.
I know this is y'all language right here, but I feel it.
Come on, dictionary.
Okay.
But even with that, so another question, just piggybacking off of that, when it comes to your herbs, like you are aware that you have like 140, but when it comes to a complex case, basically, how do you customize that? Can you, like, just tell me how
I definitely customize. We
Okay.
have to customize.
Yes.
Because every one of our bodies is different.
Okay.
Though we are molecular structures, all of our cells are responding differently.
Yes.
And so one of the first steps that I take, send you out a food guide. I want to know how you're eating normally. Don't make it look pretty for me. You eat McDonald's, you eat McDonald's. Let me meet you where you are. Tell me the truth. I want to know how you're eating. I want to know if there's been stress in your life, if you are having an overwhelming amount of stress in your job, in your relationship, do you sleep at night? Tell me more about your family history, because sometimes when there is a dysfunction or a dis-ease inside of the body, I don't like to use the word dis-ease in regards to D-I-S-E-A-S-E, it's dis-ease inside of the body. The cells are under attack. I want to know how we ended up here.
Yeah.
Because what we provide is holistic health, which tells the whole story of your life.
Yes.
If your mother had you eating processed food at an early age, but you went vegan later, well, we might have challenges later in life that might stem to that.
Right.
So some of the steps that I use is, how are you eating? How are you sleeping? What type of stress levels are you under your life? You know, tell me more about you.
Yeah.
And when I hear these stories, now I kind of know where to go.
Right.
Because when we're healing holistically, it's not, I don't treat symptoms. My job is to help you guide the body back into balance. And once the body is into balance, healthy cells begot healthy cells.
Yeah.
And healthy cells truly are the brain of the body. They will continue to do good to the body.
Yeah,
so
right.
that's my agenda when I talk to people.
Good.
I love that. Okay, so I guess shifting a little bit from herbs to just business ownership. As a small black business owner in a primarily black neighborhood, but still living in 2020.
Yeah.
What was that like? Just being a black business owner and trying to navigate what the world would look like, maybe from a political perspective, from a business perspective, from a pandemic perspective. There's lots of ways you
There was so much going on.
There was so much. So much. You can pick and choose.
It was exhilarating.
Yeah.
At times it was overwhelming, because you have to understand, we had our businesses running from day to day. They shut completely down. So we had to develop websites overnight. So for me as a black owned business, how did I operate was faith. There was a point with me where I knew my community needed the knowledge more than I needed the profits.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to deliver the mission. And I think this is so important. To thine own self be true. Know your calling. Know what you are destined to do. And you really have to tap into that. Because my mother would say, I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor a seed begging for bread, right? So what that means is that when you've been called to a thing, the universe will make provisions. You take one step towards your calling, the universe will make 2 steps towards you, right? And so that is the core of how I personally made it through 2020 in business and personally. I tapped into my calling. I know I am called to be an herbalist. I know I am called to help people inside of my community. So to answer your question, answer your calling first, and then creativity. Don't be afraid to dream. Dream big. Why dream small? If somebody said the ocean is available to you, why bring a teaspoon? Bring the whole goddamn swimming pool in hand. You understand? Bring the biggest thing you can. Dream way bigger than what you even currently are. And then tap into, like, functionally. Like, I've learned, this is a tactical business aspect. Create outlines. Sometimes we go into building the plan. The plan is a rabbit hole that can go deep. Create the outline of where you want to be. Start creating your benchmarks of where you want to be. You'll color it in, and that's how we moved in 2020. And we had our biggest year. We listen.
What a blessing.
Come on,
What a blessing.
Listen.
Blessings on top of blessings.
Yes. You speaking. You preaching. The black-owned business owners right here who moved in 2020 and to have spoken to other black-owned businesses, you're telling a story that we've heard from other black-owned businesses.
And we didn't know how we were going to make it. There was a point, imagine this. I was sharing with my team earlier, like for example, our bills was $14,000 this week, right? So that has nothing to do with last week or the week after. So imagine all of your businesses coming to a complete halt.
Yes.
No traffic moving outside. We didn't know how we were going to make it. I went home, I told my staff, I'm laying everybody off. But I went home and I knew that I was called in this moment to continue my purpose and continue on my agenda. But I didn't know functionally how to make it happen inside a business. So the only thing that I had was my faith. And I started thinking like, how can I get the message out? It was not about money. We were doing Instagram lives from home, just educating people about herbs. Even if you went to Vitamin Shop or GNC, I didn't care. I wanted you and your family to be able to survive. So I'm telling you, always put the mission and purpose first. Nothing else will fail.
You better breathe. I don't even know my next question.
I got stuck on a
But let me ask you though, if you had to recommend an herb, if you had to recommend a blend or a combination to get through COVID, whether that's physically or mentally, what would you look up?
Wait, or both?
Oh, both. I like both because I think COVID is a mental thing, and I think COVID is a live virus that is attacking people's bodies. And so what I do know is that what we want to do, it's not about an elderberry, it's not about a golden seal. I'm not here to tell you any particular herb and tell you it's going to be your breakthrough or your cure. What I do know is that a body that is prepared for a wellness crisis is prepared for a wellness crisis, be it COVID, be it cancer, be it diabetes. What you want to make sure that your body have every day is antioxidants. That's like oxygen to the cells. We are cellular beings at the end of the day. Everything, if we still break ourselves down under a microscope, everything is moving really fast, and it makes it work. Healthy cells begot healthy cells, and healthy cells produce tissues, they produce organs, they produce the immune system, which 75% of that is inside of the immune system. So what I would suggest to everybody to do, number one, hydrate your body. We are 70% water. No one's talking about water. If we're 70% water, we're drinking juices and we're drinking subsidies to water, then our bodies are dehydrated. When the body is dehydrated, the body cannot respond to a crisis.
Exactly.
The second thing is give your body the minerals, the vitamins, and the antioxidants they need. Let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. You cannot separate the two. You hear what I'm saying? So eat your way to good health. Eat your greens, drink your water, eat your antioxidants, eat these things. And now when the body steps into war, be it COVID, be it diabetes, be it high blood pressure, now I can say, hey sis, Liv, hey Melody, let me give you some echinacea. It's going to give your body a push. But these are supplements. Your food is your primary. Your water is your primary. Let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food is what I would say. Eat like you want to live. Eat like you somebody. Drink like you somebody. Quit eating like a slave. Quit drinking like a slave. Let your body have its natural breakthrough by eating the leaves of the tree. That's what I would say. You know?
I'm gonna take that.
Okay.
So, where can people find you at? On social media, physical address? You
can find me right here in old College Park. I think they call this historic College Park, right by the train station. You can find me at 3727 Main Street. I'm right next door to Popular Virgil's and Milk and Honey on Main Street. I'm in notorious Camp Creek, right on Butner Road at, what's my address on Butner Road?
3220.
3220 Butner Road. You can find me online at freshfromearth.us, on Instagram at freshfromearth. You can Google me at Fresh From Earth. Google the Root Doctor. You will find me. Google plant-based medicine right here in Atlanta. You will find me. 678-489-5302 or 404-343-4982. you will find us, and we are here for you. And let us know. We offer private consult. You can kind of come and hang out. We are here. This is what we do.